Welcome to Sunlight Stadium, Seminole fans, alongside Ryan Pensy. I'm Scott Kotick. Rivalry Saturday here in Miami. There's nothing better than when the Canes and Noles meet. How do you maintain the emotions for this kind of game? Because when it's a rivalry showdown, both sides are going to be at their very best.
Yeah, if you can't get up for a football game like this, then you might want to consider not playing football anymore. I mean, it's FSU versus Miami. The storylines for the guys who played together at Pop Warner High School, they run so deep. So this is an opportunity where you can forget about everything coming into this game. You can forget about the fact that Miami maybe isn't the same team they were back in the 80s and 90s when they were winning national championships. It's still FSU versus Miami. And you're right, Scott. For FSU, they need to come in here. They need to take care of business. Everybody's talking about how they're 3 touchdown favorites to beat Miami. But you just have to know with this series, it's going to be a war as soon as that ball kicks off.
It's the kind of game where stats, records, anything on paper honestly doesn't matter. It doesn't mean they're not important. It just means, well, it really doesn't matter to the kind of game like this. Let's talk about Miami a little bit, because I think people would say maybe their defense isn't at what they used to be. They still have very good offense. They can still shut anybody down. Doesn't matter which quarterback is playing. We don't know yet. Florida State's still got to be very careful.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a game-time decision for Morris. I just have to think he's going to play at some point. Even if it's during warm-ups, you're going to see him out there moving around just to give that illusion that he's going to play if he doesn't. If not, it does present some different challenges for the Miami Hurricanes, but let's not take anything away from their defense. You're still talking about a lot of guys who came to Miami, and maybe they haven't had the success early on that they wanted, but if they could have a game like they would want tonight, that just starts the ball rolling. And this is Miami, who's leading the Coastal right now, and that's the type of thing you got to remember coming into this football game, especially with the way that the Seminoles stubbed their toe up at NC State. Got to take care of business tonight.
So many times it's very easy to look at the other team and say, well, they do this poorly or they do this great. In my mind, Ryan, I think it's what Florida State does. Again, if Florida State takes care of what they can do, they focus on themselves and executing their game plan, there's not a team that they can't compete with. They need to have that mentality tonight against the Canes.
Well, you're absolutely right. You've got to do the things that you have to do to win football games, and you look at last week as a blueprint. You got to limit turnovers. You got to go out there and be aggressive from the start. I don't know that you're going to be able to come out and be conservative against this Miami team. You've got to go out there and hit them early and often and make sure they realize that we've come down here not only to play but to win this football game.
Let's talk about the keys to the game, Brian. For me, it's running the ball. I think I talk about this literally every week, but Chris Thompson has the kind of game he had 2 years ago, and our defense just pretty much plays solid fundamental football. Knowles should walk out of here with a win, but again, it's about maintaining the emotions, not letting that get the best of you.
Well, you're right. FSU needs to run the football, and FSU's defense better stop the run. Duke Johnson's a player that many people are talking about as possibly the ACC Freshman of the Year. I mean, this guy is a dynamic running back, and if the Seminoles can't slow him down, it could create some problems. I think E.J. Manuel has to take this team on his shoulders in this football game and go out there and will them to a victory.
I agree with you, Ryan. Kickoff scheduled for just after 8 o'clock here at Sun Life Stadium. Prime time on ABC. Brent Muxberger and Kirk Herbstreit on the call. If you want to listen to Gene Deckerhoff, check out the Seminole IMG Sports Network crew, including Ryan Pensy and William Floyd. They kick off just about 2 hours prior to kickoff of the pregame show. And of course, Seminoles.com/Gameday, our Gameday Central page, has everything you want out of the game: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you name it, we've got it here on Seminoles.com. We'll see you after the game.